Hello, and welcome back to the Calm and Connected podcast. I'm your host, Janine Halloran, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about checking in about feelings. So I've been giving some talks recently, and I have really been focused on the name it to tame it sort of recommendation that I have learned about through Dr. Siegel and Dr. Payne Bryson. Their amazing work, which talks about, the thing that is really helpful for kids to learn how to self-regulate is to name their emotions. But what keeps happening is when I give these talks, people are like, well, how do I actually help my child name their emotions? What are some strategies that I can use to help them actually say the feelings out loud? How can we make this part of our daily routine? So I wanted to share some ideas for feelings check-ins that you can do at home and at school to give you some ways of starting the conversation, ways of making feelings words and emotions part of your daily activities and part of your daily life, because it's so helpful in helping children learn how to self-regulate. So the first recommendation I would make is to try using the zones of regulation. It's a book written by Leah Kuypers, who has done some amazing work. And what is so wonderful about this system of zones of regulation is it's just 4 signs. So it's 4 shapes, and it's based on traffic signals. So there's a green light, like a green circle. There's a yellow yield sign, and there's a red stop sign, and there's a blue rest area sign. So these 4 zones, you can basically put any feeling into these 4 zones. I've actually done activities as a group where we just are putting feelings into these different zones. So as we go through them, you'll understand. So blue is if you are feeling sick or you're feeling tired. Green means happy and calm. Another way I like to describe it is ready to learn. Yellow equals more like feeling frustrated or annoyed or worried, and red is stop. So it's a really easy way to sort of categorize feelings, and kids really pick up on it. Even really little kids can get this, like 3, 4, 5 years old can really understand, like, I'm in the red zone or I'm in the blue zone. And for some kids, it's actually a little bit easier to actually talk about being in the zone versus having a feeling. It's just a step closer to being able to say, I'm feeling frustrated. But if I'm in the yellow zone, it gives you as the adult an idea of what's going on for them, and they can actually share their thoughts and feelings about what's going on for them as well by using the zones. A lot of schools are using zones as part of their social emotional curriculums. There's amazing sort of lesson plans that are on Pinterest if you want to go on there. People have created all sorts of amazing lesson plans based on her work, the zones of regulation work. And it is really interesting to see. It's just a great way to be able to get everybody on the same page. I actually used to use it in my own home, and I used to actually have the shapes on the wall, and we would do sort of like a feelings check-in throughout the day. So what zone are you in right now? Maybe before school or early in the morning? How are you feeling after school? How are you feeling right before bedtime? And just checking in throughout the day, just using the zones of regulation. It was super easy, super understandable for people who maybe you don't have a feelings faces chart available, but you can color it in. You can make the shapes and you can color it in just using markers or colored pencils or just construction paper. So super easy, super simple way that you can start to have that feelings check-in using the zones of regulation. Another thing I love is feelings faces charts. There are so many feelings faces charts out there. I love it. What I like to do is actually create my own with my groups or with my clients. So I'll either have my clients make the different faces that show different emotions. And again, that actually can help them work on understanding what their face does and understanding what other people's faces are doing and understanding what other people are feeling based on that. If you are using their own faces or using real faces for feelings charts, so you can have them make them where they are making the faces, Or you can find some stock photos of different kids and having them show different emotions and having conversations around that. It's a great way to start having conversations about how do you know when somebody else is feeling frustrated or angry or sad or happy. Another thing I do is use emojis, because emojis are part of a language that our children and teens are going to use or are using. And so to be able to read what those mean, interpret what those mean, and be able to use them appropriately is actually a really good skill for them. So I like using emojis as well. And I am working actually on making a feelings faces chart with all the kids and characters that have come through the card decks, just because I think they're super cute. So be on the lookout for that in a few weeks. I'm going to be launching that, but I just wanted to let you know that feelings faces charts are key. It's huge just to be able to point to and say, this is how I'm feeling today. This is how I'm feeling before school, after math, after lunch, and getting kids into the rhythm of understanding your feelings will change throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the months, throughout the years. And that's okay. Feelings are okay. All feelings are okay and should be allowed and accepted. It's what you do with those feelings that matter. You want to make sure that you're making safe and healthy choices with those feelings. And then the third way I like to help kids do a check-in is using an app. And this is especially great for my teen clients. I have a few apps that I have recommended, and these are apps that are actually in the Coping Skills for Teens workbook. I recommended them in there. There's the Mood Meter app, so colored dots where you can sort of scan and put a little tag of where you are. There's Dailyo, and then there's Mood Kit. And I love these apps just because you don't necessarily have to write out everything. I'm pretty sure Mood Kit actually, like, you just pick a face, but it gives you a way to track it. And then it also gives you a way to sort of look at your patterns, which I think can be really fun. So even for younger kids, like elementary school kids could also use it with support. And then you can sort of get an idea of what's going on for them. Are there certain days of the week that are more challenging? Are there certain times of day that are more challenging? Are there certain situations that make it more challenging, that they are experiencing more frustration at certain times, maybe more anger at certain times, more happiness at certain times? When you can see a pattern, it is so powerful, because then you can make a plan. If you know that there is something that makes it more challenging, that it causes frustration, then you know when that situation comes up, you can make a plan before it happens again. So lots of different cool ways that you can do a feelings check-in. And I know it may feel strange at first, right? Or a little bit challenging. And it might be hard for them to sort of name it, especially if they haven't been doing it before, but help them make smart guesses. Try to see if you can make a guess about what they are feeling. I'm noticing that your body is doing this. I wonder if you feel frustrated. I'm noticing that you're smiling and you seem happy. How do you think you feel? So giving them ideas of noticing where they feel things in their body, what you're noticing about how their face looks, about their eyebrows, their cheeks, all those sorts of things can give them clues about how they're feeling. So giving them an opportunity to practice. And then finally, I think we as the adults should also model it. You can share your feelings in a way that is appropriate. You don't have to overshare, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of stuff that as adults cause us stress and anxiety, and we don't necessarily want to put that on our kids, but we do want to model being able to say, I feel frustrated as we're sitting in this traffic. I'm annoyed that this person hasn't called me back, you know? I'm in the blue zone. I didn't sleep well last night. Being able to model those acknowledgement of your own feelings is huge, because they can see it's okay. It's allowed. It's okay if I'm anxious. It's okay if I'm worried. Mom and dad feel that too. Maybe my grandma feels that. Maybe my teacher feels that. That's okay. It just can model the normalcy of having an emotion and, figuring out a healthy and safe way to cope with that emotion. So, and it makes kids feel a little bit less vulnerable. If the adult is doing it, it makes it feel a little bit safer for the kid to do it too. So I hope you found this helpful. If you like this podcast, please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues and give us a rating and review wherever you listen. And one more thing, don't forget about yourself. Take a few minutes, have a little fun, and have an awesome day.